Yo, what's up, guys? New video talking about arena rush preparations. So in this case, I'm going to rush on someone else's account, which is Swax from the SSA community. He addressed me at some point on one of my videos asking, okay, you have a lot of those videos on rushing on a bunch of LDs, you have the Grogan, you have the Nafties, that kind of shit. That makes things look a lot easier. Is that a lot easier? Yes, but going back to basics, no LDs in rush, someone else's account. But also just talking about, this video is purely about how do you prepare for a rush? Next video will be actually about me rushing on that account after I prepared from this video. So the main thing is, like, I get a bunch of questions, how do you prepare for a rush? And I wrote them down here in this notepad, and the very first thing is the pre-prep for your rush. The pre-prep for your rush is getting the highest rank possible before sun. What does that mean and why is that? I gave that to him as homework. Let's see what he did. He's G1. G1 is okay. Preferably, you would be higher than G1. Main reason why you want to be higher than G1 is the following. Let's say the final rank is, what's the highest rank right now? 1900. Well, let's say 1800. This guy is 1800. Let's say 1800 is legend. And let's say, well, we're trying to get G3 here. So let's make it more realistic. We're not talking about legend. G3 right now is about 1705. So 1705 is G3. Let's say the goal is G3. We are 1665 is us. It would be better to be G3. Well, let's say it's already miles better than could be rank 1400 or like even 1200. Some people start rushing at like as this. If you have this, if you're starting your rush with this, then you know what's the big issue? You have to climb what, like fucking 450 points to get to this point. But the moment you get, let's say you hit very fast, you get plus 450 points in 45 minutes. It's doable. It's doable. Issue is, in that same 45 minutes, people are going to drag you down for maybe like minus 50 or minus 80. So you wasted 45 minutes of your rush. You're still not at this point. The people that were at this point right now are at this, or even this, and you are at this. So it's better to start high, to not have to catch up to people. That's the main reason. If you start your rush and you start with like being way back, it's the same thing. Like take for example, you have two people in a boat and the boat is sinking. For first person, he noticed the boat is sinking, but there's barely any water in the boat. The other guy, the boat is sinking, but it's like half full already. So it's way easier to get the water out all of the time when there's pretty much no water in the boat. So you're on point of that all the time. For the other guy, you have to catch up, like emptying half your boat before you're on the same level as the other guy. That's kind of what I'm thinking, like what I'm saying with rush. There is a downside to that, however. Let's say G3, or let's say you're going, it's mainly just for legend. Well, even also for G3. Let's say G3 is this. But we would be at, let's just say something crazy. We are at this. This means you are going to get target that's like no tomorrow. You don't want this. Because if you're too far up, what you get is, for a win, you get plus 5s. For someone beating you, they get plus 15. So you go minus 15. You cannot catch up to this shit. Because so many people see like, hey, 3 plus 15s. They're gonna hit your ass, and they're gonna drag your ass down. Not to just G3, they're gonna drag your ass down to G1. Because every time they see you, they think like, oh, that guy was high up, let's hit him again. Or they actually tested to hit you before, so they hit you again. So it kind of also depends on your defense, but in general, it's mainly if you're going for legend, you don't want to start too high. Also, one very important thing that's kind of sidetracking on this, make sure you do your offenses clean. Because let's say you do an offense and you get plus 10. You go from 1801, you go to 18, this. You go there for plus 10. But what happens if you get minus 10? You go from this to, of course, this. That makes a lot of sense. But then again, you don't go minus 10, you go minus 20. Because the difference between those two numbers is 20. And if you keep that in mind, it's rather to slow clear and 100% safe clear than fast clear and lose a bunch of offenses. Of course, it's better to be fast and safe, but Can't have everything alive. That's just something that you have to keep in mind. So that's pre-rush. Or pre-prep. That's just some side information, pre-prep. We're going to talk about, okay, what can we prep for the actual rush? If you want to get the highest rank in your rush, you got to rerune. It's just a fact. Like, people have so much mana right now. If you want to get your new best rank, you probably have to rerune to put your best runes on your defense and your second best runes on your offense. In, I think, that order. It kind of depends on which units you have. Like, if you have a very good offense potential but not a good defense potential, or the other way around, you focus more on what you have better potential of. But in general, you want to focus your best runes on AD. Because the moment people don't want to hit your AD, if you have an AD that really scares away people, maybe you don't need the best runes on it by unit. But if you have something that people would like to hit, you need very good runes on it. So first, let's talk about AD. How to craft a proper AD. I still see a lot of ADs that are completely shit, or ADs that would work for 1 week and then people figure it out the next week because it's that simple. There's a few different kind of ADs. First AD you have is a speed, and then a speed lead, stripper, and then some follow-up. That's a good defense. You also have something HP-based BS and hard to kill. This, in general, I like more as a defense, and it has one very good reason. The main reason is this: if someone wants to clear it, they can always clear it. So if someone wants to slow hit you and bruise you, they will always be able to clear you. If it is annoying enough that you can, like, it looks like you could clear it, but then actually you cannot fast clear it, so actually people have to slow clear it, it might be nice in some cases. But in general, I do kind of like this over this. You can also go somewhat hybrid, but what I sometimes also see is where people go too hybrid, where you have like speed lead stripper, Molly Triana. Yeah, like, cool that you have speed lead stripper and then Molly Triana, but your team doesn't do jack shit. Like, you can still Tiana this because the follow-up that happens here does nothing. So you kind of need like a proper based follow-up. So you can also have a def that looks super scary. So something that people don't like to hit. And for that, you need LDs. That's just LDs. I feel like defense-based is a lot more LD-based, very specific LD-based, whereas off is more free-to-play. Even though lately I don't show pretty much any free-to-play offenses, I would still say that this is more free-to-play than that. Would that mind that you cannot, or would that say that you cannot get G3 with a free-to-play defense? No, you can definitely get G3 with a free-to-play defense. Can you get Legend with a free-to-play defense? That's the part I'm not entirely sure about, because there you have, like, okay, there is a certain luck factor, like who hits you, who's hitting that day. Do you have other guildies helping you? Do you have super fast clears? Do you get in the last few minutes like a bunch of successes, or people actually skip you because they don't want to hit you? So technically the best thing for your defense is this, where the enemy skips you. That is the best part. Like, if the enemy skips you, you don't decrease, you can only climb from offenses. That is by far the best point. So you rather have a lot of skips than a lot of defense successes. Because someone that does defense success on you, they're gonna retry. And currently with the anti-boosting thing, the first time they tried, you got a plus 10. But the second time they try, they get a plus 5. And the third time they try, they get like a plus 2. But they can still try until they actually win against you. So that is something to keep in mind. So that is pretty much for defense. We're going to talk a little bit more about what kind of defense in a second. So then, what about offense? For offense, if you have no clue what kind of offense to use, I really recommend watch my videos. Watch the videos from Guts the Berserker. Watch the videos from Pain Solidar. Watch the videos from who else does arena rushes. I think there's a few more people that I cannot mention right now. Maybe I'll put their YouTubes in the description down below as well. Watch their offense videos, copy whatever the fuck they use, because it shows that it works. That, or you record your rush. I think in most cases, Android devices have that currently, that you can record your rush just from your phone. Probably Apple can do the same shit. You record what you did for rush, and then you check, what did you skip? You're going to look very specifically for what did you skip, but actually it did look easy. Because in the rush, it is something you're gonna build a certain amount of offenses, but you're not gonna be able to clear everything. However, every defense is clearable. You just have to have the correct offense. So in that case, you kind of have to toy around saying like, okay, I skipped savannas a lot. Like for example, in my previous video I showed, I suddenly started hitting all savannas because my whole defense was just countering savs. And with that, I could hit like all savs very easily. Whereas previous week I was struggling if it was Swift this, if it Y with that. Now I could hit all of them. So that's just something to keep in mind. Do you want to improve in that? And then you have to make some stuff like that. So that's pretty much some like words, preparation, yada yada along, like pretty much. Let's look at the first things first. Defense. What is a proper defense? So in this case, he does have a defense that is somewhat annoying to hit, but you can Tiana this. Is this defense good? Oh wait, fair point, you can't see yet. So this defense is Tianable. So it's not the best of defense. Is this, however, good for a midweek defense? Yes, because like I said at the start, you want to start as high as possible. So you want to have a proper defense that people might want to skip. So let's see how many people actually... Okay, it's getting close to rush. Not that many people skip this. If you have like... If your whole list is 2 hours on a Sunday, you have a defense, people are like, okay, I can Tiana this or I can do that. It's something simple. If you want to have something like weird but annoying, that people are like, okay, I don't know how to hit it, put a fucking segment in there. Everyone's going to be like, yeah, I Lucian this. Wait, no, what if he like S3s on my Lucian? Like literally, even if this thing is ruined or not, just throw some Swift runes on it by all means. But people are going to be like, wait, I've never really seen this. This looks kind of weird. This is not in my repertoire of what I hit all the time. I'm going to skip it. So something weird like that people haven't really seen. LD based, annoying based. Molly is mostly annoying. Kinky is mostly annoying. Perfect units for that. So I would say if you want to be an annoying defense on this, I would definitely throw in that segment and then just give like whatever speed set you can find on. Pretty much. So that's just an option. Let's say you don't have these units. There's always options. A thing that I see a lot used in global mainly. I see it a little bit more in Europe as well, but those are Pisama offenses. Rage Pisama is actually pretty fun for defense, or a Pisama defense. Rage Pisama is kind of fun for defense, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's the best 33 lead. In my opinion, the best 33 lead is still this thing. Don't forget Day's aerial triple cam defense. That's the funny part. Like that's a very good example. So probably I can't make that defense here, but let's say these are all Camillas, and then there's an aerial next to it. Let's say, I'm not sure, do you have aerial? Yeah, aerial. So let's say this is a triple Camilla defense with an aerial. It is very annoying to hit if you didn't prepare for it. But then again, it's super bomb food. If you go double bomber, Tiana and a Sierra, you will clear this pretty much all the fucking time. So it is just based on whatever people have prepared or people have not prepared that are rushing, whether your defense works or not. So there's a lot of ifs and buts, like whatever, to a defense that could be successful. Personally, a defense I still like, which kind of has been figured out, but it also does kind of perform, in most cases, is still a Vanessa Triton +2. So a Vanessa Triton +2 is just a very solid combination. I actually showed in the previous video that you can destroy it very well with a more Veladjul, but it is one of those things, if you rune things properly, it is still annoying. Abellio in general cases is a very good unit for defense as well. I saw in my previous rush that there were a lot of people using this together with a Kinky, for example. And yes, it works. This with a Carnal works. So, in my opinion, we could also go, that's actually an LD defense potential unit. Not sure if you really want to use it. Like, let's say this guy wants to go for a... you have 5 mollies. Fuck you. But you could go, for example, you go for a molly, you go for this thing, you go for that thing, and you add in like Carnal or something. You definitely have a decent defense. Definitely. Is it going to perform all the time? Probably not. Like, you just try it a few times. I actually want to see how this defense will do on global. So I'm actually going to run this defense. This is a defense I've run for many, many times. And I'm just pretty curious to see what this defense does. However, a thing you have to keep in mind. You have to put your best runes on the Triton. And you probably want to skip that. You have to put your best runes on the Triton. Otherwise, your defense is somewhat food. At least that's mostly what I do. I have pretty good rune depth in Swift runes that I can put my best runes on Triton. and still have good enough runes for my Asher, for my Tiana, and all of that other kind of jazz. I'm also going to rerun this account for Brudge, so I will look at it for like how that works. So for now, I'm not going to apply this because it doesn't have any defense, but that's probably the defense I'm going to run, unless I actually would I want to go for something crazy. I might think about going for something crazy, something that we actually saw in Europe's server. What if we do? Do we have Camilla? We have double Camilla. We could technically do the defense that I saw that I think is actually one of the stronger right now. If you make this in a good build, it is very annoying to kill. You cannot Leo this. It's hard to bomber because of this thing. I am actually going to run this. I'm gonna copy. That's also the thing. Like if you're doing arena offense or you're watching videos, look at what someone sees that's very high up. Copy that shit. Like you don't have to be super creative. Just copy what works, man. Steal whatever works. So in this case, I'm gonna steal whatever works. So we shall see what we can do with this defense. So then we're gonna look at offense. Offense, a very important part as well. What kind of offense do we see over here? We see pretty much a bunch of crap at the bottom. We see a Leia offense. We see a Tiana offense. We see a Lucian offense. Okay. Things that for offense, there's a few things you want to counter. Wait, let me get the notepad again. You want to counter 33 lead Tritons. Very important, very meta. People are going to use this shit. So we want to counter 33 lead Tritons. We also want to counter tanky teams. And that's actually pretty much it. Like, to be honest, those are the two different things that you have. You could say, like, okay, there are some 24 leads with speed, semi-hybrid, whatever that. So you have that kind of shit. Yes, you can kind of focus for like clearing those and having specific offense as well. But in general, if you have good counters against those, plus follow-up. But those are the two main things you want to counter. So what we're actually going to do for this case, I think, we are going for a more Vela setup here as well. That is definitely a team I'm going to make. Tanky teams, mostly counted by Tiana. Shit. Tiana, Poseidon, and we go for Kaki, and we go for Galio. Another team that I just saw, which I'm definitely going to keep in, is the Chiwu, Ashir, Gal, +1. That is definitely a team I keep in because that is countering Halfas. Whereas this team technically does not counter Halfas because if this unit is a shit unit, which it is most of the time, Halfas is gonna fuck your ass. So you don't want this to happen. This is going to make it to the YouTube, yes. So therefore, Chiwu is a really good counter to Halfas, so we're going to make that defense as well. We could say that we want to do another one, and we go for a Pisama, Alicia, and we go for a, what's it called? Kabila, and we go for a Bastet, which is a pretty solid one to counter, mainly this one as well. But I feel like we can counter this one fair enough. Or maybe for a change's sake, I will actually build this Pisama, Alicia, Kabila, Bastet defense. Because Kabilas are very easy to outspeed Tritons. Also keep in mind, the thing I missed, for defenses, if you build a Triton, put it on fucking will. People are going to Leo your ass, so put it on fucking will. So yeah, I guess I'm going to build these three defenses. Will I make a Leo team too? Yeah, I might make a Leo team as well, and that's more countering this than that. But since I don't know exactly the meta in global, I am going to... your Alicia is not skilled up. Okay, we're going to build this team for Valamore. Probably. Do I want to... I can do it with Christina. I actually had a different idea with Christina, though. Another counter you can do to this is actually a Leo, Delphoy, and then Galleon, and then Christina. You have Christina, and do you have Christina skilled up? You're a Siege player. You have Christina skilled up, right? Yes, okay, perfect. So we have that skilled up. So those are the defenses we're going to work. So then it's, for me, you can do it by hand if you say you like it. I personally don't. You can use the optimizer to craft your defenses. And especially since you're kind of using weird ass runes on them, I prefer to use the optimizer. So we have the optimizer. So first things first, let's actually properly write down what do we want to use. It's very important that you know what you're going to build in what order. So we are going to build first the defense. So def, we are going to build a Nessa. So we're going to make a Camilla, and we're going to make a Camilla, and we're going to make a Nora. So those are the main units we're going to make. Then afterwards, we're going to make a Morvella. I'm not sure if I want to use the Morvella yet, so let's keep that on side for a second. We're going to make the Tiana, Poseidon, Gal, Gaki, Pisama. We're going to use a Pisama for this team as well anyways. We're going to make a Chiwu. We are going to make a Asher. It's going to be the same Galleon. We are also... Oh, another thing we can counter. Tion fucking Lang. We gotta counter this piece of Zok as well. So how do we counter that piece of Zok? We can counter that piece of Zok very easily by a Pisama, Tiana, Galleon, and CP is all Swift. So Russian Global takes a while. So that is something we're going to make as well. It is technically counted by this thing is Swift, you get fucked. But there are questions aside. So yeah, those are the things we're gonna make as well. So we're actually making a Galleon that's Vio, and we're going to make a Galleon that's Swift. We're gonna make a Swift piece of Zok. We're gonna make a CP. CP Swift also. And then we're going to make, what else do we miss? We can make a... technically this team you could do with Leia, but we already have Poseidon. We could still make a Leia though. We are also going to make a Leo. We're going to make another Galleon, which is going to be Will, Shield. And we're going to make a Delphoy, and we're going to make Christina. So this is pretty much all we're making for Rush. So this is how you do a proper prepping of Rush. You actually write down what the fuck you want to counter and what the fuck you want to use for it. So we have a good amount of how many units we... why this insert? So we have a good amount of how many units that we want to... 12... 13. I could have also counted the line numbers before, but since we're all dumb, mostly me, I actually counted it like this. So we're reruning 18 units for this fucking rush. Is that tryharding? Yes. You want to get your next rank? Fucking tryhard. Piece of lazy Zok. No, I like you all. Only if you like the like button. You follow and you do that kind of jest. Either, so yes, we're gonna do this.